She say she want a man to get it dripping wet. Body full in love with sweat. Honey peanut butter, candlelight, a bottle of the best. Sexy like Kardashian, I bet we make a video. Chocolate strawberries have a body tingle head to toe. Baby, be my number one, treat her like the dancer. Shiny as a VVS, Gucci, Prada, and Louis, son.
Welcome to another episode of No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go Get 'em. And we are back in the building with another episode of Freaky Motherfucking Friday. As y'all can see, I'm here solo dolo. Ash couldn't make it. I mean, I knew when she didn't respond on Wednesday that was going to be the case. But so be it. Can't stop the show. The show will still continue. So, as usual, backup plan. That just means you got another night with Mr. Bailey himself. And what we going to do is we gonna have a conversation like we usually do. So earlier today, before we do that, hey man, make sure y'all tune in every motherfucking Friday night right here for Freaky Friday. The next couple of weeks we got a bunch of star-studded guests that will actually be showing up to the show. And then tune in on Sundays for Sunday Night Live, where on Sunday we will have another wonderful star-studded show. Right here, YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and I feel like I'm leaving something out. But anyway, tonight, we're going to go in a little bit. As you guys see from the title, it is called Prioritize Your Lover. Do you prioritize your lover? Now, this is not going to be something where I'm going to sit here and talk your head off. As a matter of fact, I got this nice little video that somebody sent to me, and it was absolutely amazing. I couldn't pass it up. So let's go ahead and cue this up and watch this video real quick. And again, understand it still is. It is that day. It still is Freaky Friday. So we still gonna get off into some freak shit. But let's go ahead and jump in this video real quick.
Val had said to me one morning, he was like, and this is when it clicked to me, right? He was like, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you think about? I said, well, open my eyes, thank God for another day. And then I'm like, all right, well, what do I got to do for the day? The kids have this, that, and the third. I got to do this, that, and the third, work. Everything else in between, all my errands I have to run. Why? And he was like, so where do I fall in the list of things that you think of?
Mm-hmm. I said that to her.
And I was like,
New Year's Eve, 2020.
I was like, and that was like a gut punch to me because I was like, wow, I'm really out here covering all these bases, but the one base that always holds me down. Mm-hmm. How dare me? And at that moment, I said, never again will I do that.
That's good.
So now it's a thing where when we wake up in the morning or even before we go to bed at night, we'll have a little recap of the day. What do you have going on tomorrow? You wake up in the morning, babe, how you feeling? How's your spirit? How you know, what do you need help with today? What can I take off your plate to alleviate a little bit of stress or a little bit of confusion or something? And it could be something so simple. He's just like, yo, I'm gonna be on the road all day. Can you pack me lunch? Like something simple.
Yeah.
And then by me taking the time to be invested in what he needs in that moment, it frees up time in his schedule or even just the desire to want to reciprocate that.
Yeah. And it fireproofs your marriage.
Val had said to me one morning.
Okay. So, we'll go ahead and fire up the phone lines. Fire up the phone lines 602 736 6660. Let's talk about this. Prioritizing your lover. Are you prioritizing the person that you are with? Are you guys on the same page? Are you doing things that helps keep your relationship intact? Together, loving, lasting. Are you at that point in your relationship where you're doing things? Go ahead and hit the phone line. Let's have a conversation about this. Um, it's about as real as it's gonna get. So prioritizing your lover. Do you feel like you do that enough in your relationship? Do you feel like you do that enough in your life? 602 736 6660. Go ahead, call in. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about, you know, what it is that we do or what we don't do as we go through life um, with a significant other or even without one. We got a caller. Thank you for calling in. Freaky Friday, you are now live on the air. You calling about the video?
I am.
Okay, let's talk about it. So, you saw the video, all right? Do you think in your relationships, whether current or past, that you prioritize your lover?
So I feel for me, I did not. Once we had kids, they were my priority. And so I never ever. So this video kind of hit home because I never put him first. It was always, what do the kids need? I need to do for the kids, not for him.
All right, so
And so it kind of put a damper on our marriage.
I was just about to ask that. So looking back, do you think that you could have did some things differently?
Oh, for sure. So where I am from, we get some really bad weather a lot. So um, it was kind of like little things that I would maybe do that were not, I wouldn't say expected. Um, so when he was going out of town, because they traveled a lot, I would, um, a specific time, I packed up his lunch and just put a little note in there to drive safe. And that meant so much to him. And he kind of made a big deal out of it to everyone. So to see that video and to like know, yep, you have to do that to keep your man going because they don't get appreciated enough.
Natalia in the chat says I prioritize my lover as much as I can. Let's go ahead and good job, Natalia. Do you think in the modern day time we currently live in that men are being prioritized by their significant others, wives, girlfriends, etc.?
I don't think enough.
Do you do you have any idea why that might be?
I think that sometimes in society, women are um,
Can we
live in this fantasy world that it is all about them.
can we say selfish?
And
Would the correct term truly be selfish?
well, oh, selfish, but
Well, let's we're gonna generalize just a little bit. But in the majority of relationships, is the man usually the breadwinner?
yes.
Um, from New Year's, we can just go through the calendar. New Year's to Valentine's Day, to birthdays, to Memorial Days, to Labor Days, to Thanksgiving, to Christmas. Who is usually the recipient of the majority of the gifts?
Women.
Okay. Do men usually go out of their way to please their woman, from buying purses to cars to making sure you're in the right home, date nights, dinner in the movie, uh, things such as that?
Well, I think it kind of depends on your relationship, really,
But
because not all men are like that.
correct. All right, that's what I said. We're gonna just do a little generalization. In the general
Hmm.
world, do men, for the most part, do those things for the woman?
Mm, I
Let's
don't know
say
if I can answer that.
50-50. Let's say 50-50.
Okay.
So let's say 50% of the men do that, right?
Okay.
What does a man usually ask for in return?
Mhm. Not a whole lot.
Exactly. So,
Well, like for my past marriage, mine was just to when he would be gone for work, it would just be to keep a clean home.
okay.
He's out on the road, keep a clean home, make sure that when he comes home, have dinner made.
So, what you're saying is he wanted a clean house and some food. That's it.
And that was it.
All right. And the majority of the world today, women want their hair done, nails done, toes done, the latest purse. Are those things a thing of modern day times?
Yes.
Is there an expectation that a man should be providing that for a woman?
I don't think there's an expectation.
You don't think, who has to pay for the first date?
No. I think you talk about that as a, well, mostly men do.
Thank you.
We'll say men do.
Men have to come walking through the door 9 times out of 10 showing they can provide. If he doesn't pay for the first date, do you really go back out on a date with him again? For the most part, no. So,
No.
this video is a prime example of what love should and could be when it's at its
Hmm.
greatest. And what it does is it shows or it outlines like what is currently missing even in modern day relationships, that if we really took a look at it, could relationships be better? Absolutely. So he had to bring it to her attention that he wasn't even a thought process in her day. Now, when a man and a woman meets, and when she's trying to get the ring, she's trying to be the wife, she's trying to do that, they have 0 children. Who is the priority to her?
Well, if they have 0 children, it should be him.
Okay. Now, why is it that when there are children that come into play, the man gets pushed to the wayside?
I think because you're so observed with, well, depending on how old the kids are. Well, not even, because even when they're babies, kids need more attention.
Okay. So if
And that's
he
kind of the woman's role is to,
true, but if
the
he's
kids are her
prioritizing
priority.
you, if he's prioritizing you and you're prioritizing him, don't the children still win regardless, because that means they're getting equals amount of attention from both him and her?
True.
But is do you feel, or based off of even your relationship, did you feel like you made him more of a priority or the children more of a priority?
I made the children more of a priority for sure.
Okay, so as a father myself with children, I was with my kid's mom, and that's just it. I prioritized my home. I changed as many diapers as she did, if not more. I took care of my kids. My kids weren't seen as like I'm gonna be like, it's not a babysitting job. Like you're my child. You're my
Hmm.
seed. I love you. I'm taking care of you. I'm providing for you like the way it's supposed to happen. Right? But how is it that while he is providing so much for his home and doing so much for his home, the man easily gets forgotten about. How do you think that happens?
Because they don't ask for much.
So do you think men should ask for more?
Well, maybe they don't communicate enough what they really truly need.
Well, in all honesty, what do we really need? And, and I'm being like super. Let's look at it like this, okay? If he's a man's man, well, he's paying bills, he cooks, he cleans, he does all the things before he's in a relationship, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what typically does he truly need?
Well, companionship.
Correct. So should he be asking for more?
Well, not really.
Like, men are pretty simple. Like, let's just throw it in there. It's like if we were to say of the two creatures, men are truly far more simple than what women are. We don't
I
need our
agree.
hair done. We don't need our nails done. We don't need $300 worth of makeup.
Yeah, but y'all need some shoes.
Okay, so we need shoes. Yes, we might need some shoes, right? Is that a lot to ask for? Marcy says men need comfort and peace. Good job, Marcy. Is comfort and peace a hard thing? Is that a lot to ask for?
No, I don't think so. I think sometimes it's harder for women just because sometimes they haven't always had that or had a man that just wants that.
So we got quite a few viewers right now. So I want to put this to our viewers, and I want you guys to really hit the chat because I'm gonna ask this question, especially to my ladies. Right? You have a man. Your man happens to cook, or not, your man happens to truly be the provider. He really pays the largest of the bills, the majority of the bills. You don't even know what a bill is because he takes care of those. You have a roof over your head. He loves you. He cares for you. He truly is your safety and security. When you with him, you know you are good beyond good. There's no hurt, no pain coming to you. You have children with him. He checks all your boxes in life. When I say all your boxes, I mean every single box that you can think of. He checks that in your life. Y'all have been together for, I don't know, 10, 15, even let's say 20 years. Y'all been together for this entire time, right? Your man has never asked you for anything. He's made sure every last one of your your Valentine's Day was crazy. You got to gloat in front of your girlfriends. You looked amazing at work because the roses came. You got the dinner. You got the more flowers and chocolates and the cards. Your birthdays have always been lit. You got your dinner. 5-star restaurant for you and your girlfriends. Like everything. And then one day your husband, your man, comes to you and says, I just want to have sex with another woman. What do you really say? What is your answer? What is your response? How do you respond to that? He's giving you everything. He's never told you no. When you wanted the new car, he made sure you got it. When you wanted the bigger house, he made sure you got it. When the kids needed, he made sure they were taken care of. The one thing he asked for is to sleep with a woman just one time. How do you ladies respond? Starting with you, caller. And all the rest of them answer in the chat. Do
I
you
don't. I think that I wouldn't be too fond of it. But at the end of the day, if I'm not okay with it, 90% of the time, he's just going to go out and do it anyways.
But let's say he's not. He's literally asking your permission.
Mm.
He is being a good man and asking before he just does it. How do you respond to your man? Marcy, how do you respond? Natalia, how do you respond? All the other people that's there, put your answers in the chat. How do you respond? He gives you everything throughout your entire relationship. You got this fat ass rock on your finger. It's more than what you initially asked for. You drive your dream car. You have your dream family. If I've had it for 20 years, he's never done anything wrong. He's never told you no. He just wants one night. Think indecent exposure. Minus the $1 million.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I know he's coming back home to me. So I feel like I'd probably be okay with it because he's asking for just one time.
Okay. Marcy says, I think open up a conversation about polyamory and rule. That's not polyamory. Again, he's doing it for one day, and polyamory means you're open on both sides. He's going out and having sex with regular people. You're going out and having sex regularly with other people. This is not that. This is y'all are in a full blown marriage relationship, whatever you want to call it. He asks one time. Natalia says, I would say yes, even though I wouldn't like it. If it's just sex one
Yeah.
night, I would say yes. How many?
I'm with her.
So you would agree with that?
I wouldn't like it, but he's giving me everything I want. So
Now, my thing is, do you see how hard it is? You have a man that would literally give you everything under the sun. But why is it so hard for a woman to allow a man to have just the one thing that he might want?
because I think that us women believe that we should be enough.
Okay. Enough
You
of what
you
though?
shouldn't want you shouldn't want another woman when you have what you have at home.
Now, is it him wanting another woman or is it just him wanting sex?
Well, in that case, I think it's just him wanting sex.
Okay. So what's your favorite food?
Pasta
All right.
or Italian.
Do you eat pasta all the time?
No,
If you did, would it still be your favorite?
no,
Okay. So what you're telling me is you eat a bunch of different, you eat a variety of foods, but your favorite is pasta, right?
correct.
Do you wear the same clothes every day?
No,
Okay. If you had a choice, would you really drive the same car every day? Have you driven the same car your entire life?
no,
Have you always loved the same person your entire life?
no,
Okay. Is all sex equal?
no.
And have you ever gotten tired of having sex with the same person over and over and over again?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why you ask for new things.
Okay. So here's because I'm answering Marcy's question too, because she says she thinks she'd like to know why. Variety is the spice of life. And as
Yeah.
much as you think you're enough, when you have it for so long, over and over and over and over again, even you grow tired. The difference is when you as a woman fall in love with someone else, other men cease to exist. But men don't have those feelings. And again, he has given his entire life to give you everything that you want. And he just asks for one present, one time. Why is that so hard? If you love someone and you know something is going to make them happy, wouldn't you be more inclined to do that for that person than to not?
Absolutely.
So,
But I
just
think women can't imagine their men with someone else.
So again, you would know your man more than anyone, right?
Right.
All right, have you ever been with a minute man?
Yep.
Okay, what happens if he's a minute man?
um, well, we probably wouldn't have fun again.
Correct. Okay, and that's the thing is like, let's really let's put things in perspective. It says prioritizing your lover. Cool. So if we really talk relationships, do men truly prioritize their woman?
For the most part.
Okay, but is it reciprocated?
Say that again.
Is it reciprocated? Do you feel like it's reciprocated?
Not always, no.
Mm. Natalia said it may add spice to sex life after that night. It actually, it probably would. Most women love knowing their man is liked or wanted by someone else. Now imagine knowing, especially, let's say your man's good in bed. Imagine knowing he's with someone else and they're truly enjoying it the same way you do. You really think that's gonna make you mad, or you think that's gonna turn you on?
I think that's going to piss me off.
You think it's gonna piss you off?
I think so.
Yeah. See, but that's just it. Like you think. You know how many of you guys are scared to actually find out what it really would do? And what it would do is really what scares the hell out of you, because when you really think about it, it doesn't really piss you off. You're taught to be pissed, but it doesn't really piss you off. Because, well, have you ever been cheated on?
Yeah.
Did you leave him
Yeah.
for good?
Yeah.
You never went back.
Eh.
Thank you. So it didn't really piss you off. What pissed you off is the fact that he probably didn't tell you about it.
True.
It was the lie that pissed you off, not the act. The lie pissed you off. The act didn't. So, I'm going to play this video. Caller, go ahead and stay right where you're at. I'm going to play the video again to give context so that people can understand what we're having a conversation about, okay?
Okay.
All right, just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. This is prioritizing your lover.
Val had said to me one morning, he was like, and this is when it clicked to me, right? He was like, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you think about? I said, well, open my eyes, thank God for another day. And then I'm like, all right, well, what do I got to do for the day? The kids have this, that, and the third. I got to do this, that, and the third, work, everything else in between, all my errands I have to run. Why? And he was like, so where do I fall in the list of things that you think of?
Mm-hmm. I said that to her.
And I was like,
New Year's Eve, 2020.
I was like, and that was like a gut punch to me, because I was like, wow, I'm really out here covering all these bases, but the one base that always holds me down.
Mm-hmm.
How dare me? And at that moment, I said, never again will I do that.
That's good.
So now it's a thing where when we wake up in the morning, or even before we go to bed at night, we'll have a little recap of the day. What do you have going on tomorrow? You wake up in the morning, babe, how you feeling? How's your spirit? How you know, what do you need help with today? What can I take off your plate to alleviate a little bit of stress or a little bit of confusion or something? And it could be something so simple. He's just like, yo, I'm gonna be on the road all day. Can you pack me lunch? Like something simple.
Yeah.
And then by me taking the time to be invested in what he needs in that moment, it frees up time in his schedule, or even just the desire to want to reciprocate that.
Yeah. And it fireproofs your marriage.
Val had said to me one morning, he was like,
So again, the question is prioritizing your lover. Do we truly prioritize our lovers the way we think we do? And especially for those that are married or in long-term relationships and have children, have you forgot about the primary partner in your relationship as you walk through your day totally oblivious to the person that you're supposed to be head over heels in love with and spending the rest of your life with? So we got a caller here where she says she didn't prioritize her husband in her own marriage and it didn't work out for you, right?
Correct.
So if you could change things, one, would you?
Mm, uh, into that respect, yes.
Okay. Do you think that might have changed the outcome of your marriage?
And my situation, no.
Would it have made it better?
It might have, yeah.
Um, if you were to say you were to do things differently and you were to prioritize your husband at the time more, what are some of the things that you think you would have done differently?
Been more attentive to him and his needs.
Uh, did he ever speak of anything that he might have been missing or lacking or wanting that he wasn't getting?
He didn't really ever speak on it, no.
So most men, let's can we agree most men suffer in silence?
Yes, absolutely.
Um, he may have been happy with you in many ways, but unhappy in other ways. But instead
Hmm.
of him making a big deal out of it, he just uh, he just kept it moving. What's up, Jason?
Yeah, I think that some of ours was I was so busy taking care of the kids that when he would want to come back from being on the road 5 days out of the week, um, he might want to go have dinner, and I was exhausted because I was running the kids around doing this, that, and the other with them, and I didn't want to do anything.
So what you're saying is you forgot how to be a girlfriend and a lover.
Yep,
Okay. Do you feel like
yep.
that? Do you feel like that would help build a partnership or tear it apart?
Well, it's definitely going to tear it apart.
Okay. Now, I don't know
Mm.
if he cheated or anything, but if he did, do you think that he would have a reason to?
Absolutely.
How how does that make you feel?
Um, it makes me feel like I didn't do my part. That when he was maybe wanting it and I didn't, and he went out, there was probably times where maybe he wanted to.
Do do you think that in doing so that might have driven a wedge not only between you and him but even him and potentially his children?
What do you mean, like caused?
So think about this. This man has dedicated his life to you. He's asked you to marry him. He's married you. He's given you every single thing that he knows how to do in his power, his will, and it's not good enough. You prioritize children over him. Do you think that he may look at his children differently? Like you're the reason this is not working?
Yes, yes.
You think that could be a
Maybe
wedge?
some jealous. They're coming first before he is.
Okay. So even removing you, because there's a lot of women that put their kids before their significant other, right? And then what'll happen is when the relationship, when she's left him and she's broken up the home and broken up the family, she then tries to use the kids as you're a deadbeat, you don't do what you need to do for your kids, blah, 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 when he actually was doing all that he could. But everything in the house got prioritized over him, so he just decided to take a step back. Does that really make him a bad person? Or is he just over it?
I think at that point he's over it because he's been told no, or I'm too tired, or I don't want to do that. Let's have movies and chill. And that gets old.
You think a lot of men in the world today are probably going through this and feeling that same way?
Yes, I do.
Can you think of other relationships that you see where the where men are going through this?
Yes, I see it a lot.
I mean,
And I think I'm more observant now than I ever have been. And so I watch how other people act. And it's like, whoa, I seen a man want to kiss his wife and she totally rejected him. And
and
it's
then
like, yeah,
let's be real. Who usually wants children most, men or women?
women.
You think so? I think
Yeah.
men want children the most. Women want marriage.
Mm,
A man usually is so dead set, and the thought process always is, I can't wait to have my first son.
yeah,
Most guys are very ready for their first kid because we all have this thought process that our first child's gonna be our son, and our son gets to be like our biggest cheerleader in life.
hmm,
And then as women, usually your biggest thing is you want a ring, you want to be married, you want the last name, and you're willing to do anything to get that, including having his children, even before marriage.
true.
I think
But
conversations like
I think some women want to have the children to keep the man around in order to get that ring.
true. I think a lot of these salute. Welcome to the chat, Eliana. I think a lot of these conversations are important and happen for the fact that as long as we have these conversations, we can actually see the flaws in our relationships. We can see the things that don't work, and even learn from other people how we could potentially make our relationships better, and just be better ourselves as a whole. Um,
How do we get better if men don't speak up on what they want?
well, let me ask you this: you know who Kevin Samuels is?
No.
You've never seen or heard of Kevin Samuels?
No.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: did he speak up?
Did who speak up?
Kevin Samuels.
I don't know.
Okay.
If I don't know him, I don't.
I'm gonna tell you to do your research. Okay. Are
Okay.
there a lot of podcasts out here right now where men are talking about relationships and what men are looking for?
Okay.
When a man does that, is it taken as anything good, or is it demonized?
Um.
Are men allowed to say what they want in their woman without getting thrown under the bus?
Well,
Are men able to
no,
tell the
because
truth?
I think sometimes women use it against them.
Thank you. Are men able to tell the truth and be honest with a woman and not be called a misogynist or a hater or gay or any of those things?
Mm,
Or the first question always is who hurt you?
it- yeah.
The first question is
I think.
always who hurt you? Where it's not hurt the same way you have wants and likes and needs in a relationship. Men do too. But if we say it, we get talked about. And then I'm just gonna be honest. As a man, okay, so let's say you go to your girlfriend and you're like, he broke up with me. All right, you get to cry on someone's shoulder. You get to have people go, "Oh, we got you, girl. He don't deserve you." Da, 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 da. Okay, if a man gets broken up with and he goes and says that to his boys, do you think we get that same sort of reception?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so when we say this and you say, should men speak up? Well, if he would have spoken up, which it actually sounds like he did, but did you listen to him?
Um, I don't think that it was spoken up in my situation until after the fact.
Okay, so but
So I
that's
had no idea that I was doing those things because we never had communication on that.
so what?
Could it have made a difference in some areas? Yes.
Have you ever been taught to be self-aware of of the things that you should or shouldn't do in order to make your partner happy?
Mm, not until later.
Okay, so that's probably the biggest issue. So maybe it's not the fact that men aren't speaking up. Maybe it's the fact that so many men hit on so many women that even the worst woman in the world gets so much attention that no one's ever held her accountable to the fact that she's had to fix herself.
Hmm.
Lizzo, if Lizzo is out of shape, and we know that Lizzo is out of shape, are we telling Lizzo to get in better shape and she would have a better outcome with some of the men that she's been very vocal about that turn her down in the industry? Or do we tell Lizzo she's perfect the way she is and that those men just aren't good enough for her? They don't see her beauty. Which one of
Yeah.
those is really a fact? The fact is, not all men, the majority of men in the world don't like big women. And the men that she's going for have the pick of the litter of some of the most beautiful women in the world, and you don't fit that category. We know that Leonardo DiCaprio is going to date a chick between the age of 21 and 25. And when she hits 25, he's getting rid of her. So, Lizzo, you don't fit that. Two, they're usually very skinny and blonde. So he's not even in your league. Michael B. Jordan. Well, we've all seen the type of woman that Michael B. Jordan dates. Lizzo, you don't fit that category. It's not a bad thing, but could we probably live a little bit more in reality and fix some of the issues and not say, why don't men speak up? But we also say, maybe we should listen to the men and be more self-aware and pay attention.
I agree that definitely self-aware. The older that I have gotten, I've learned a little bit more. Um, Definitely not there completely, but for sure, I think if the conversation would have happened sooner about the needs of what he was really looking for, that could have all been changed.
Well, again, thank you for calling in. We definitely appreciate it. Is there anything you want to say, promote, shout out, friends, family members, anything?
Nope, I don't think so.
All right. Well, I
Thanks for
definitely
having me on.
no problem. Thanks for calling in. Great conversation.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Friday Night Live. It is freaky, 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 freaky Friday. By all means, call in with the story, whether it be something sexy, freaky, crazy, freaky, like, something happened to you. It's the worst day of your life situation. When you were 12 years old, you fell off your bike and almost killed yourself. Situation. Call in, promote anything that you have, whether it's a clothing line, if you do music, you're a musician, whatever it is you want to promote it, this is your chance to actually do so. But yeah, welcome to Freaky Friday again. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go Get 'em! Dom the Monko. So, 602-736-6660. We're going to stick with the prioritize your lover. I'm going to play this video again. This is what we have been talking about. This hit home with a lot of our viewers. And I kind of like this because someone sent this to me earlier. And I didn't think it was going to be a hit. And I'm seeing it's a hit. And I'm liking it. So, here's the video. We're going to replay it so everyone has context. Let's go.
Val had said to me one morning, he was like, and this is when it clicked to me, right? He was like, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you think about? I said, well, open my eyes, thank God for another day. And then I'm like, all right, well, what do I got to do for the day? The kids have this, that, and the third. I got to do this, that, and the third, work. Everything else in between, all my errands I have to run. Why? And he was like, so where do I fall in the list of things that you think of?
Mm-hmm. I said that to her.
And I was like,
New Year's Eve, 2020.
I was like, and that was like a gut punch to me because I was like, wow, I'm really out here covering all these bases, but the one base that always holds me down. Mm-hmm. How dare me? And at that moment, I said, never again will I do that.
That's good.
So now it's a thing where when we wake up in the morning or even before we go to bed at night, we'll have a little recap of the day. What do you have going on tomorrow? You wake up in the morning, babe, how you feeling? How's your spirit? What do you need help with today? What can I take off your plate to alleviate a little bit of stress or a little bit of confusion or something? And it could be something so simple. He's just like, yo, I'm gonna be on the road all day. Can you pack me lunch? Like something simple.
Yeah.
And then by me taking the time to be invested in what he needs in that moment, it frees up time in his schedule or even just the desire to want to reciprocate that.
Yeah. And it fireproofs your marriage.
Val had said to me one morning, he was like,
All right. So, prior to it, prioritizing your lover. I think a lot of people are becoming a little bit more aware that they are in a relationship with someone that they are not paying attention to. And in the case of our caller, it did not help her marriage out in the way that she thought it would. And, it kind of hurts the relationship. Okay, if you guys agree with that and you may be possibly going through that, you don't have to call in if you don't want to. But if so, and you are willing to speak about it, whether it's a current relationship or a past relationship, by all means. But again, it is also still Freaky Friday. So you can call in with a story and talk about whatever freakiness has gone on in your life, in your past, in your present, or maybe even something that you would like to do in your future. The number is 602-736-6660. You can stay 100% anonymous. We do not ask names. We will not put you on blast. You just get to call in and tell your story. Or you can call in and speak about the video we just watched, which is prioritizing your lover. Do you feel like you have prioritized the person that is in your life? The person you're in a relationship with? So many times we see a lot of relationships mainly end because, children, dog, family, a lot of things, careers get put before the person they are with, especially the person who is usually taking care of them mentally, physically, and mentally, or emotionally. And that is damaging. It hurts. it doesn't foster for a good relationship. It actually hurts your relationship. And usually all it is just paying attention to the person you're with and then taking on some self accountability. I used the analogy earlier. It's amazing. A man will bend over backwards to give his woman everything throughout the entire relationship to make sure that she truly gets the queen treatment. Valentine's Day is amazing. Birthdays are amazing. Holidays are amazing. She gets to look like everything in front of her girlfriend. She's getting the roses. She's doing these things. She doesn't have to pay the majority of the bills. A man usually has a hard time telling his woman no. But the moment that the man asks for anything that he would truly desire, a lot of the times it is never given to him. He is told no. Do we know why that is? When we ask for very little, and vice versa. Are you in the reverse? Are you giving your man every single thing and he is giving you absolutely nothing? We'd love to hear from you. 602-736-6660. Or again, it is Freaky Friday. You can go ahead and call in and tell a story. You can also put it in the chat. If not, honestly, we'll end the podcast a little early tonight. It's up to you. The callers, you guys get to rule and run this. So, Christina says, sometimes it's hard for a woman to hear she isn't doing something right. I agree with that 100%. It is very hard to tell a woman she isn't doing something correctly. But that goes back to the part of the conversation that I had with the caller. So with the caller, it was very. I said a lot of the times when it comes to a woman receives so much attention throughout her lifetime, she's ever held accountable for the things she does badly. It's easier to replace a man that will accept her for being totally out of place, out of pocket, than it is to stay with a man that's going to hold you accountable or tell you that, you're technically not good enough. And for that one man that's sitting here holding you accountable and telling you, you could do these things to be better. In the social media age, you have 100 other men. You have 100 other men that will give you exactly what you look for and never hold you accountable. Natalia says, I have a story. Don't want to call in. Well, stop being scared. Just call in. Tell your story. No one's here judging you. No one knows. The only person that's going to know it's you is you. Simple as that. So yeah, it is, and I understand it's going to be hard for you as a woman to hear that you're not doing something correctly. As men, we hear it nonstop. We're held accountable for everything. From sports to life to even the things we can't control. If a man is called short because he's 5'6", he can't control that. Nothing he can do. If he's got a small PP, he got a small PP. There's no change in that. Right? A lot of the things when it comes to relationships are things that you actually can change because you're 100% in control of those. The way we act is something that is controllable. But physical things aren't things that are controllable. So it is hard, and I understand that. I have a daughter. Holding her accountable, I mean, honestly, it is even hard to even hold her accountable because she's super emotional. And the moment you say she's done something wrong, she wants to cry. And it's like there's no need to cry. Let's just fix it. Whereas if I tell my son he's done something wrong, uh, he takes it and he fixes it and he keeps it going. Natalia said, I had a threesome to please my man. I was so afraid to do it. So what happened after? I think you should probably call it. It sounds like Natalia is living a double life. She had a threesome to please her man. I was so afraid to do it. Well, what happened when you did it? 602-736-6660. Call in. Call in, call in, call in, call in. Sounds like you got a juicy story. Or on the Instagram, go ahead and send the phone number and we can call you. Accountability is probably one of the biggest things, one of the hardest things to do in life, especially if you've never been held accountable for your actions or the things you do. So that would be a game changer in life. It would be hard to hear. It would be hard to go through. All right, so we've got a caller. Thank you for calling in. You are live on the air.
Hi, how's it going? This is Num.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. So I was listening, and you're talking about Natalia. How she said that she had a threesome with her man, and she was scared to do it. Um, haven't had one of those yet, but I do know that the other side of fear, great things happen. So I'm interested in knowing what happened after the fact. Um, but I've been listening to this whole session, and the prioritizing your partner piece really struck a chord with me. I've met someone, and he seems like a really cool guy, and I have a really great career, and I am climbing the corporate ladder right now, and I'm trying to find a balance. So, I wanted your opinion, on when you're just meeting someone, how important it is to find that balance or prioritize a prospect, not necessarily a partner. What do you think about that?
All right. Well, first off, the answer to Natalia's question, she said it was great. He was very attentive to my feelings. It
Nice.
was my first time. Whoa.
Okay.
Congratulations to
Okay.
Natalia. Okay.
Okay. Well, there you go. So
All right. So
something good did come out of it.
here would be my question to you, first and foremost.
Hmm.
Is this potential suitor someone that you potentially could see your life with? Is he a good man? Is he a provider? Does he make you feel safe when you're with him?
I think those things are yet to be determined.
Okay.
I think time is important. I think that when you meet someone in this day and age, it's real easy for people to give you their representative.
Very much so.
And I've had previous relationships where um, the facade took some time before it went away. Like the curtain dropped, and it's like, oh, this is you. And so it's not necessarily that I'm a skeptic, but I feel like the honeymoon phase can last a little longer with some people, depending on the circumstances. So
How
I
long
really
have you
can't
known
say
this
that.
man?
Not very long at all.
Okay.
Not very
How
long at
many
all.
times have you gone out with this man?
Not a lot.
Okay. Um, so I need to ask a couple of questions. You
Sure.
don't have to give exact figures, but approximately what is your age?
I'm 43.
43.
Hmm.
You are. You say you're focusing on your career, right?
Hmm.
How long have you been focusing on your career?
Um, my career has been a priority the last 3 years,
Okay.
but recently, the last 6 months, there has been a lot of opportunity presented with, a sizable increase in my pay and more earning potential.
Okay. Are you familiar with the term? Um, let's take this. Do you think is this man a high earning man?
Potentially. But I'm at a point in my life where I'm a high earning woman.
Okay, it
So,
sounds like it. But do you think that is more of a turn on or a turn off to a man?
I mean, that's not my concern. I'm still a woman who is very much a homemaker. I
True.
still pack lunches. I still take care of the home. I believe that there is a balance in a relationship. So, whether he's a high earner or not, there's still, I'm not going to necessarily say roles, but there's shifts. There may be times that I'm, you know, 20% and he's 80. I believe in the philosophy, you take care of the outside, I take care of the inside.
Correct. So because
And but
naturally, your natural inclination is hypergamy. You want a man taller than you, correct?
no,
You don't
no,
want a man
not at
taller
all.
than you,
He doesn't have to be.
but
I've been
let's talk about your preference. Would you prefer a man to be taller than you?
No, that's not where my preference lies. It's not in height, it's not in weight, it's not in looks. I'm a sapiosexual. So I'm somebody who appreciates a mind,
Okay.
not the show.
When
Because
was
the
the
show can
last? How
change.
long have you been single?
6 months.
And the last person you were with, what was he like? Age, height, weight.
He was 42, 6 feet, svelte, nice body,
Make a good living or no?
decent living,
All right. And prior to him, what was the man prior to that? Height, weight. Um.
5'7",
Uh.
mm, maybe 190 pounds,
Okay.
decent earner.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
Okay. And what's the longest relationship you've been in? Have you been married?
I have. I married
Um.
my junior high school sweetheart.
Why did that not?
So
Why did that end?
I think that in that relationship, I'll say that I was very young. So it was puppy love. And then it was a feeling of obligation because of the duration that we had spent together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and, blessings from both sides of the family. Um, it was a situation where I was someone's wife, someone's sister, someone's daughter before I really knew who I was. And I was living in my husband's shadow. And so it wasn't the healthiest situation for me. Um, and I was not growing. I was not growing at all. um, as much as I would say, we had plans and we partnered to reach goals, it was his vision, not a shared vision.
So the only reason that I ask these questions is to kind of get
Hmm.
a feel, right? And then
Hmm.
to kind of throw this out there, right? Because it's like prioritizing your lover, right? Um, you're dating, and you're dating
Uh-huh.
based off of what you know you want, what you won't settle for, right? And what's gonna make you happy. But
Yeah,
the missing piece to that is also understanding men. So I'm gonna give you um, a a piece of a man's world. If you took
Hmm.
10 men and you lined them all up, 9 times out of 10, a man wants to be the breadwinner. And anything less than that emasculates him, which would be the number one reason. Well, why, do you want a man that feels he's in his masculine, he's the strength of the family, he's not looking for any outside attention in order to prove that he's the man? He has to be the man
Well,
in
I
his
don't.
home. So
You
if
know, I think that you're making some points there, but I think that we're talking about a certain type of man and from a certain type of perspective. Yes, I want a man who's secure within himself. I feel like, there can be a blue collar man who goes out and, works on a car every single day and, knows how to build things within the home that adds just as much value as a person who's bringing in a six-figure income.
well
I think that a bravado,
here's the
right?
here's the here's the
Go
part
ahead.
of that. The part of that is it's not really for him. Most women don't stay with a man that they are financially taking care of for long periods of time. So if he's not the breadwinner and you are, that gives you basically head of household. So he's got
Yeah,
to
but
do
it's
one of
I
two
have to stop you
things.
there. I have to stop you there because I hear you, and that's one perspective, right? But for me, in my perspective, regardless of what I make, I'm a firm believer that the man is the head of the household
True,
and the woman is the neck. So
but you do
that
have to
that
take in account that men do have these feelings. So
absolutely,
so
absolutely,
it is your perspective and what you want, but you have to understand that as men, 9 out of 10 men are going to choose to be in a relationship where at least he feels where he is or he knows that he is the breadwinner, and it's not has nothing to do with control or anything. It's literally the masculine aspect of how men are made up. So we're no longer considered masculine because we work on cars and build homes and go out and kill buffaloes and bring the deer home. A man's masculinity and a man being a man in 2023 is 100% based off of usually what he makes. And you can be the exception to the rule, very much so, right? But he's still dealing with a world of women that, well, in this world, if he's not the breadwinner, he is called the broke ass. He is the broke
right. But
man.
where are the men that handle all this on their own, and the women are the bonus, where they're so secure within what they're doing, what they have, and where they're at in life,
Well,
that the
I
woman that they
don't know.
bring into their world are secure.
Again, where I don't know.
Right.
We're living a different. I would even say 20 years ago, um, you would have found a plenty of those men around. But in the last 20 years, there's been a major shift in dating, society, money, um, just social. There's a social ineptitude where we have fallen off as people to where things now outweigh personality. Things, money outweigh good personality, good people. We live in a different time. So, in what you're potentially looking for, what you want, is gonna be a lot harder to find just based off of like where where people are at now. In your situation where you're dealing with a new guy, well, this my only advice that I give to every single person is
Mhm.
every relationship, both parties need to walk in given the benefit of the doubt. He shouldn't have to prove anything to you. other
I
than
agree.
what he shows.
Yeah,
Now, I will say this
I 100% agree.
as a man who is 100% a man's man, high earner, I take care of my children, etc. Right? Make this man show you his worth, not tell you his worth. It's just going to, yes, it is going to take time. But in that time, the question is, because this is what's gonna hurt more than anything, if you're prioritizing your career, I don't know what your hours are, but are there enough hours to where when that ends, it's a Tuesday night. Are you going home to watch your favorite TV show? Or are you going to make time to spend an hour or two with him so that you guys can properly get to know each other? So I did the math for someone at one point in time. There's a lot of what we call weekend daters going on right now. You can spend
Hmm.
5 years with a man, just dating him for the next 5 years. You have only seen this person if you saw him every single day of the weekend. If you saw him every Saturday and Sunday, the equivalent of 260 times. That's still less than the time that you would put in a year of knowing each other, just knowing each other.
Mm.
So after 5 years, you honestly don't know anything about that person because you haven't truly put in any time. So in order to get to where you are going to truly know what this man is worth, and if you guys are truly compatible, it's not just taking your time, it's actually putting in the time. And if there is no time to be put in, and it's a weekend only type situation, I would tell both parties cut it off because 9 times out of 10 there's no future in that. Because when you do get to a point to where you spend time with each other, you will actually get to know each other, and the facade would be over. But in a situation like that, that facade could go on forever. If you want to
Oh, for sure.
beat the
For
facade,
sure.
Monday,
Well, I think the
Tuesday,
curtain,
Monday,
yeah, I
Wednesday,
think the
Thursday,
curtain's going to
Friday,
fall. I'm sorry.
weekends, spend as much time with this man as you possibly can to see if he is real or if he's not. If he's real, me or no one else can truly say exactly what's going to happen because the sky is the limit. But if the time can't be put in, then nine
Yeah.
times out of 10, what's going to happen is, especially as we get older, time starts to fly. It goes real fast. I'm 43 years old.
Yeah.
Um, if
Hmm.
if I start seeing someone right now and she only had time for me on the weekends, I'm declining. She could be the baddest in the. She could be Megan Good, and I'm in love with her. I'm
Hmm.
declining her because I know that we can't spend time together and she'll never see my worth because we won't have enough time.
Which is fair. I think that is absolutely fair. I think that there's, you know, also some prerequisites, right? Before a person like myself, before I start dedicating, and allocating that time. When I think about time, it's 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 something that you don't get back, right?
Correct.
It's like money spent, you can earn money. You can't earn time.
And that's why
So,
give as much as quickly as possible so you don't waste a lot of it. The faster
well,
you can get to the truth, the better. It's like the woman who makes the guy wait 6 months for sex, only to find out it's horrible. She'd never keep him, but now she has feelings for him. But she knows she would never stay with him. If she would have taken the time and just said, "Okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet because I need to know," she wouldn't have wasted 6 months. She could have wasted 6 dates, maybe 6 days or six weeks.
but again, we're equating it to a waste, right? Time wasted.
Well, no such.
Whereas I
There's
think that
really in
it's
life no such thing as time wasted. You should
right.
take it as always
w-
take everything as a lesson learned.
Well, for sure. I was just going to say, as an investment, right?
Yep.
Um, whether there's learning or something that you can glean from somebody. I'm in a situation right now with a person that I'm interested in to where I do have the time. I've had, a very, very busy schedule, and I want to get to know this person more. I would like to make more time. Um, but I know what my bandwidth is, to a certain degree. And I'm not looking for a weekend love or anything like that. It's just, when you find that interest and you try and walk that balance to prioritize, you know, potential. Not even this is we're not even talking about this is something that I know, someone that I know, I know how they walk, talk, live, all that. It's very, very new. So, the prioritizing your partner. I'm just getting back into the dating world,
I will
right?
say this.
Um,
Keep this in mind.
mhm.
Um, women, a lot of women hate to hear this, but you are competing with other. If he's a good man, and you find him attractive, and he's an attractive person, the same thing you see other women do see, and he may be very much so interested in you, but if you're not letting him know that you are
Mhm.
very serious about him or looking to be serious about him, other women are also paying him attention and probably giving time where
And that's beautiful.
and
That's
that's where
that's
things can
absolutely
change, and
it.
that's where I say, me personally, I wish I could have a conversation with him because hopefully he's being honest with you, because a lot of men will play that game where he's sleeping with other women, which allows him to give you as much time as you need because he's getting his needs met somewhere else.
Totally get it. But what's for me won't pass me. I'm a firm believer in that. And you already said it yourself, that, there's lessons, right? You learn something when you're w- dating someone new or you get into a relationship and that relationship ends. I just heard a lady that was on this call with you, hindsight was 2020 for her. She was able to look back and reflect. And I guarantee that the next relationship that she goes into, this is going to be top of mind for her. And
True,
so,
but we have to also always ask it and look at it as this. And um, I mean, I'm gonna be very honest. At 43 years old, the options that I have at 43 are not the options I had at 23 and 33. They're less, and they're decreasing as I'm getting older. And I think that people forget those things as we prioritize other things in life. Um, those things that we say, the the hardest lesson that there is in life is to find out that while you were prioritizing everything else, you did not prioritize yourself. And
well, see, that's one thing that, yeah, that's one thing that I think that I agree with you on. There's a lot of people that wander aimlessly through their life, prioritizing everything else but themselves. And whether it's work, whether it's giving their time to somebody else, whether it's giving their time to their children and not their partner, they don't put their oxygen masks on,
correct.
right?
Prioritizing self is the biggest thing, and I don't care what anyone says. Uh, I look at life for what it is, and I've learned to balance that as a man with a career and multiple businesses and multiple children. My kids, my family, and even putting my love life comes far before the businesses and the career, just for the fact that I'm going to retire from the career. The businesses will be handed on to the children. But I personally, as a man, as a father, I lost my first child when she was 4 months old. My
I'm
oldest is now
sorry.
15. My youngest is 8. I realize tomorrow's not guaranteed. Love, I love being in love. That is the most beautiful thing in the world. There's nothing that compares to that. And I've put myself 100% in a certain career only to find out when they no longer needed me, they did away with me. So all the time that I put into that was for nothing. And well, my
Hmm.
kids have never gotten rid of me. The the
Yeah.
uh, the
And what about your
relationships,
love life?
the relationships and the love life. I mean, I'm blessed to say I've never been broken up with, but You know, you make choices in life based off of what you feel like is going to make you happy long term. So if I see something that's not going to be there, no, I don't waste my time. So I have no problem going in a different direction. But that's never going to make me become jaded or change my path or change my
Mm,
outlook. I know my mom and dad been together since they were 12 or 14. My mom's passed away now. She's been gone for 4.5 years. Today's my father's
sorry.
birthday. She's the first person he brings up. There's something in love, relationships, and family that can't be replaced with money, material, cars. I mean, I drive my dream car now and have for the last 4 years, and it's no longer a dream. Like the love for it is gone. Um, I've done a lot of things in life, and at the end of the day, when you reach certain achievements, you realize like when you get there, it's you now have to create another one. Whereas the greatest achievement in life is to marry someone and make them happy for the rest of their life. That is something that doesn't end until you die. Careers, money, thing you said it best. It's always going to come around. So when you say prioritize, I'm going to say prioritize the things that will always fill your cup. Love, family, great relationships will fill your cup far more than any career or any dollar. That
Right.
that's
And
gonna
and
be
I hear you.
that's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
hear
my
you on
my
that.
take.
And I appreciate your perspective on that. I feel like I have to make sure that my cup is full, that nobody else fills that cup. Um, because that's my, and it's just my personal perspective. I believe, I came into this world alone. I wasn't a twin, right? And I'm going to leave this earth alone. So my happiness is my priority. My health is my priority. My mental well-being is my priority. And once those things are aligned, which they are, um, I can then pour into other people, which then I can receive, whatever from whoever at that point, because I'm already whole.
Yeah.
I'm not coming into a situation where I'm going into something where I want to go 50-50. I want to come in at 100%. And I want that other person whole as well. But I would like to be able to come into that being my authentic self and being honest about my aspirations and where I'm at currently. My trajectory is my trajectory. I'm going to move. I'm not going to be standing in the same place tomorrow. And so when we're talking about, prioritizing, this is also being or meeting or being with someone that understands where I am in that process and that may help me move quicker, may help me stand still when I need to. Um, but then that person that I'm prioritizing would need to have that understanding because that would be someone for me.
Well, also pay attention to the statistics. Women are now 47% single. Well, should be well over 50% by 2030. They say we're currently living in the what they're calling a she economy. You can Google it. They are literally creating a situation to where it is harder for us as human beings to even find a potential mate. So, also just be very aware of the world you live in and what they're trying to create on purpose. So, we have
Yeah.
we have
Well,
quite a few
will they,
things.
them, those, the powers that be, again, whether it's the meeting the dude in the grocery store when you look like hot shit, like things happen, and if they don't happen, they're meant not to happen. So, I hear you on the statistics piece, but um, you can go and say that you're going to enroll your kid in a school, and statistics are going to show that you know X out of X schools have school shootings. Like it, you get that, but your kids could gonna still go to school every day. You know what I mean? Like it's not a deterrent.
Yeah.
It's it's a statistic. That's it. And I'm that 0.1% that things happen to anyway. So I'll go ahead and I'll bow out because I've been chatting for a while. I appreciate your perspective. This
I
has been
appreciate you calling in. Well,
very interesting.
These are, again, I do this podcast just for this reason. There are conversations that men and women should be having that are not being had, and other people get to hear them, and they get to get the perspective of other people, and it may resonate with them or it may not resonate with them, but at least they're
Right.
hearing it, and they get to understand it, or at least try to understand it, and it may help them or it may not. Either way, one thing about it, we're at least talking about it.
That's right.
So I
Well,
would say
conversations are important. Right.
good
All
luck
right.
to
Well,
you
have
and
a
your
great night.
suitor.
Thank you so much.
No problem. You have a great evening.
Take care.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's turned out to be a pretty good night. Some great calls. I'll give someone one more chance. 602-736-6660. Marcy said, I'm ready to prioritize. I just got to find him. Either find him or he's going to have to find you. Just make sure that you are putting yourself out there to be found. You know? You can't lose if you're taking shots. So put yourself in the game, and 9 times out of 10, you're either gonna win or you're gonna lose. You just got to be willing to be a part of it. For Natalia, it looks like she had a threesome, and it turned out great for her. So good job. It was her first time. Will it be your last time is the question. I think the world should hear that story. Just for the fact that, hearing a woman's perspective of going into a situation like that with her significant other and her conquering her fear of doing so and actually enjoying it sounds like there is a lesson in that I think other people would love to hear too. Only time will tell. We will see if she ever calls in and actually tells that story. Outside of that, I definitely want to say thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Freaky Friday, right here on No Cap Reacts. You can catch us on Kick. You can catch us on Rumble, Facebook, Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter Live. Every single solitary Friday night. I will be back on Sunday with a guest. So tune in Sunday night for Sunday Night Live. I will be here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we do have a star-studded lineup of guests. So stick with me. Let's have some fun. We're about to go into springtime and spring break. It is right around the corner. We are already in March. I swear the new year just started. Thank you guys again for constantly tuning in. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the retweets. Thank you for the call-ins. Much so appreciate it. Again, I'm your man Bailey, a.k.a. Mr. Go Get 'em! And with that,
She say she want a man to get her dripping wet, body